Hi there. I was just playing with my cat Dolly. He loves snuggles. You know, has anyone ever asked you if you're a cat person or a dog person? Well, I never know how to answer that question because I just love them both so much. So today we are going to learn how to draw cats and dogs, and then we're going to paint them. We're going to be making a cat or a dog painting. Stick around. I'll show you how it's done. These are the materials you're going to need. We're going to get inspired by the artwork of Laurel Burch. She was really famous for painting lots of cats. But before we get started drawing our cat or our dog for our painting, let's do a little practice in our sketchbook. I'm going to open up to my next clean sheet, and I'm going to turn my sketchbook so I'm looking at my paper horizontally or landscape style. And I'm going to draw with a black crayon a line down the middle. And on one side, we're going to practice drawing a cat, and on the other side, we're going to practice drawing a dog. So for my cat drawing, I'm going to start with a big W. The W is going to be the head of my cat, just like that. And then I'm going to put an upside down V at the top, touching each side. I don't want them to meet in the middle because my next step is drawing a curved line that goes from one ear to the next. Right at this point of the W in the middle, I'm going to draw a V. This is going to be the nose of our cat. And then I'm going to add two lines that extend up, not all the way to the top of our cat head, but two parallel lines that go up to make the bridge of the cat nose. Next, I'm going to draw a curved line that's going to be the top of our cat eye that connects from the bridge of the nose to the edge of the W, and then one on the other side as well, a curved line. And then I'm going to make a curved line to make the bottom of the eye, to make those big cat eyes. They're kind of almond shaped. And then I'm going to draw that nice big pupil right in the middle of our cat eyes. I'm going to add the bottom of its mouth and some whiskers coming out to the side. If you want, you can close up this part of the nose to make a little triangle for the cat nose. Next is the body. I'm going to draw one line that slightly curves and comes down. The next line is going to be off to the side, and it's going to curve out a little bit more. This is going to be kind of the rump of the cat. I'm going to draw its front paws down here by adding one line and then another line and two curved lines down here for the bottom of my little cat paws. And then I can connect the rump of the cat all the way over here with a curved line. To make the tail, you could have your tail coming off to the side. I've run out of room, so I'm going to make my tail kind of curling up like this. And I'm going to do that by making a big S shape. So with the letter S, like that, I'm just going to curve my S around and connect here at the bottom of the cat. And then curl this tail around and follow that line like a twin line all the way down. And there is my tail for my cat. So now we've drawn a cat in the style of Laurel Burch. All right, I'm ready for my dog. So the dog is going to be very similar to the cat. There's a few minor details that are a little bit different. The face of my dog is going to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to start with the same W like I did for the cat, but I'm going to make the face just a little bit longer. So a taller W. And instead of having the V shape for the nose, I'm going to make it an oval shape. And again, I'm going to make those two tall parallel lines that come up. And I'm going to think about the ears for my dogs. Lots of dogs have different kinds of ears, but I'm going to make mine have kind of floppy ears. So I'm going to make my floppy ears kind of come off to the side. You can kind of make them a little wibbly wobbly, and then connect them with a curved line up top. To make the eyes, I'm going to do the same thing I did for the cat. I'm going to make a line that curves up and over to the edge of the W on both sides, and then a bottom curve for the bottom part of the eye. And again, I need 2 big circles for my 2 pupils for my eyes. He's looking pretty cute. He needs the bottom part of his mouth, or it kind of looks like a tongue even, and maybe some little freckles here on its face. All right, now we need the body for our dog. So same way we did with the cat body over here, we're going to have one line that curves down like this. And then I'm going to make those 2 front paws. So what I'm going to do is create another line that kind of comes down, and 2 curved lines here. And these paws can be together like the cat's paws, or you can make it separate like that. Now I'm going to create this kind of rump of the dog. He's sitting down. So I'm going to come from his face about midway up and make that curved line that comes out and back in. And again, my dog needs a tail. I'm not going to make it as long and lean as the cat's. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker so it looks a little bit more waggy. And there's my dog tail. So now decide which one you like better. Are you a cat person or are you a dog person? Which one are you going to use for your dog or cat painting? I think because I painted a cat last time, I'm going to go with a dog this time. I'm going to have my paper vertical in front of me. This is called portrait style. Instead of a crayon, I'm going to be using a Sharpie to draw my dog. If you feel better drawing it in pencil first and then tracing in Sharpie, you can do that too. So following those instructions that I showed you earlier, go ahead and draw your cat or your dog. Now that I've drawn my dog or my cat, whichever you choose, you're going to be using some crayons and a straight edge or a ruler to break up the background into different sections. I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 sections, because you're going to be filling them in with different colors of paint and different kinds of patterns. So I'm just going to take my ruler or my straight edge, and using different colors of crayons, I'm going to start at the edge of my dog and draw lines that go all the way to the edge of my paper. I can use the same color crayon or use different colors. It's up to you. There, I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sections. I'm going to use my crayons now and add some brightly colored patterns to those different sections that I've created in my background. And I can add some patterns and designs and details on my cat or my dog. And you can choose what kind of colors, like maybe you just want to use cool colors or all warm colors, or mix it up and use all the colors of the rainbow. It's totally up to you. So in each section that I have back here, I'm going to be including a different kind of pattern. A pattern is a design that repeats itself over and over and over again, like stripes or polka dots, or swirls, or hearts or stars. You could use different kinds of lines or shapes that repeat to create your patterns. Ready to paint. Make sure when you're painting tempting that you grab a messy mat for underneath your painting so that you don't ruin your table surface. And I'm going to need a water cup with some brushes. I've got two different sizes, a thick one and a skinny one for the details. And I need my watercolor paint. I'm going to start with some of the details in my background first. So I'm going to need to use that smaller brush, and when I pull it out of the water, I'm not going to tap it on my water cup because that will just spray paint water everywhere. And I need that water anyway to activate my paint. The watercolor paint starts off dry, but it gets activated with water. So with a little bit of water, I'm just going to gently ice skate my bristles of my brush on the surface of my paint and pick up some paint on my brush. I'm going to hold my brush like I would a pencil or a crayon. I'm not going to grab it in a fist. I'm not going to hold it at the end. I want more control over where my paint is going, so I'm going to hold it like I would a pencil or a crayon, right where the metal part touches the wooden handle. And I'm going to carefully paint in those little detail spots first. It's up to you what kind of colors you want to use. And notice I'm just gently applying the paint to the surface of the paper. I'm not scrubbing my paper like I'm brushing my teeth. I'm not trying to grind that paint into the paper. I'm applying it to the surface of the paper. And every now and then I might need to dip my brush in the water to get a little bit more water on my brush to help activate that paint and keep it flowing on my paper. But be careful, you don't want too much water or you'll end up with a puddle on your paper. Now that these polka dots are wet, I'm going to wait and let them dry before I paint around them. Because if I put wet paint right next to wet paint, the two will mix together, they'll blend, and it'll look a little bit messy. And I want to keep my painting nice and neat, so I'm going to wait and let those polka dots dry before I go in all those little nooks and crannies around them to try to paint. I'm going to move on to my next section. Remember, I need to rinse my brush off at the bottom of my water cup. Just give it a couple swirls down at the bottom. I don't want to shake my brush. I don't want to tap it. I need that water on it. And I'm going to activate my yellow paint because I want to use it for these stars down here. You'll have to find a balance of the right amount of water. Remember, too much water and you'll end up with a puddly mess, but not enough water and you won't have enough to activate that paint, and it'll be really difficult to get the paint from the pot to your paper. Rinse off my brush. So right now I've been painting inside the lines, but you can also paint right on top of your crayon very carefully, and the crayon will resist the watercolor paint. The wax in the crayon will push that watercolor paint away. So if I want to color directly on top of these zigzag stripes down here, I can grab a little bit of paint, make sure I have enough water on there so the paint will glide across the surface, and if I paint very carefully and neatly, you'll still be able to see that crayon through my paint. I'm going to keep filling in my background with paint. I might leave some spaces white, like maybe I want my little dog bones here to be white, or maybe these stars I want to leave white. I can do that too. Now that I'm done with my background, I'm going to paint the body of my dog or my cat, but I'm going to leave the white part of the eyes white. All right, friends, I am finished painting my dog painting, in the style of Laurel Burch, and I cannot wait to finish up painting my cute little kitty cat too. I'm gonna let this dry. Your painting might look a little bit different than mine. Maybe you chose to paint a cat, or maybe you have some other details that are different. Maybe you use different colors or different patterns along the edge, but that's okay because when you're creating, the possibilities are endless.